everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 favorite eyeshadow palettes. This video was requested months ago and I'm so sorry that I'm barely getting around to it. Right now I am so behind on my video schedule, so it's a little bit embarrassing, but I mean that's what happens when you try to juggle, you know, having a part-time job, other obligations, and then YouTube on top of it. So please bear with me, but I am so excited about this video. I have a good variety of eyeshadow palettes I'm going to be talking about. There's stuff from high-end brands, drugstore brands, something in the middle, so there's a little bit for everyone in every single budget. So let's get started. So for the first palette that I want to talk about, I'm technically kind of cheating, but I just want to mention this as a variety of palettes that you can get from the drugstore that are amazing quality. So right here I have the Black Radiance palette and Wet n Wild. They're made from the same manufacturer, so the same company is behind these. That's why they look nearly identical, as you see. And this one is the Comfort Zone palette. I have a tutorial on this. I've used it so many times. It's such a great palette. You get 8 eyeshadows on both of them. So 8 eyeshadows for, what is it, like $5? It is a complete bargain. They have so many different varieties. They have like ones with blue tones, and this one that has like more purpley mauve tones. This one has a great variety of neutrals as well as greens. So there's literally a palette for everyone. The quality is amazing. The blendability is amazing as well. It just blends out so seamlessly. These eyeshadows are not hard to work with whatsoever. And like I said, the pigmentation is great. I'm just going to show you a few of the eyeshadows. The deep ones are great. The lighter ones are great. Like, look at that. And that was just like one swipe. I know finger swatches are usually a lot more pigmented than brush swatches, but I mean, look at that. It is just incredible. They're so smooth and easy to work with, and I mean, I still have pigment left on my fingers, so they're incredible. And the Black Radiance Downtown Browns palette, which is this one, has the exact same formula, same longevity. It blends out just the same as the Wet n Wild ones, but look at these tones. They're just so beautiful. So I highly recommend either Black Radiance or Wet n Wild eyeshadow palettes. They're great. You really can't go wrong with them, especially for the price. Another very affordable palette that I absolutely love, and this one I have reviewed on my channel. I will link the review down in the information bar as well as in the cards of the video, is this one by NYC. This is the LOVATICS by Demi Lovato eyeshadow palette. It comes with all of these shades. They're just very neutral, wearable shades. And I honestly did not expect to love this palette as much as I do. This is by far the most used drugstore eye palette that I've purchased in the past few years. I just love all of the eyeshadows. The matte eyeshadows, the shimmery eyeshadows, they're just so easy to work with, so blendable, and they're very pigmented. I really did not expect that type of quality from a $7 eyeshadow palette. You can see this is the matte one. Shimmers are just as smooth. Even the deeper shades, like right here, the charcoal shades, they're just so easy to work with, so easy to use, and they last so well. I mean, look at that. If you've been wanting to try the Urban Decay Naked palettes, but really don't have the budget for that, look into this palette. It's incredible quality, very similar tones. You have, you know, warmer neutrals here, you have more cooler tones here, like plum shades and like charcoal shades. So it's just a great variety and great for makeup beginners. Now this eyeshadow palette is one of my most recent purchases, but the reason why it's in this video is because it impressed me so much. I really cannot believe the value, especially for the quality of these eyeshadows. It really blew me away, and I'm talking about the JUVIA'S Nubian 2 palette, I believe this is. Look at the size. Look at the size of this palette. It is huge. By far the biggest eyeshadow palette that I own. The eyeshadow pans themselves are ginormous. They're so big, and you just get a ton of product. This retails for less than $40. I think I paid $32 somewhere there. I used one of the coupon codes that I found, it is incredibly cheap for what you're getting. So the reason why I love this palette is because I really don't feel the need to buy any more colored eyeshadows. This has such a great combination of, you know, brighter shades. You get your neutrals here. It is just so easy to work with. I am wearing a few of the eyeshadows in this palette on today's look. I wore Surreal, which is this really shimmery champagne shade. Sheba is on my lid. Then I also deepened the outer corner with Layla right here. And then on the crease I have Jezebel, this plummy shade, which is, oh, it's such a beautiful shade and so easy to work with. I know usually matte purple shades are very hard to work with, but this one was really easy. Then I also used Madagascar and Nairobi right here on the lower lash line, so I just smudged that out. And all of these eyeshadows are incredible. If you saw my September favorites, then you saw Nefertiti, this really bright orange shade all over my eyelid. Oh my god, this palette, I just love it so much. And let me just show you how pigmented these are. Let's do the green. Oh my god, that green. That green! And Kenya, look at these. It's just, it's so crazy. I'm actually going to show you more swatches on my other hand because I've been just so impressed with this. Look at that! Look, it's crazy. It's, why? How is it possible, especially for the price? Look at that. Look at this. It's just an incredible palette. Definitely, I know I haven't played around with it too much, but so far I've been blown away, and that's why I had to include it. There was no way I couldn't include this in my video. The next eyeshadow palette that I want to talk about is by far one of my all-time favorite eyeshadow palettes and one of my all-time favorite makeup products, like period. I've spoken about this so many times over the years, and this is the Urban Decay Naked Basics 1. I've had this for so many years and I've taken it with me on so many trips. I've used this for, you know, to fill in my eyebrows. I've even used it to contour. This is just a palette that does it all. You really don't have to think about like any crazy combinations. Like, all of these shades work with one another. They work for highlighting the face. You can even set your under eye concealer. It's just one of those palettes that truly does it all. And in my opinion, Urban Decay does matte eyeshadows so well. They're easy to work with, easy to apply, blend out. They don't feel chalky or dry. I'm going to do just quick swatches. I will also link tutorials where I have used this palette because I'm sure I have a few. I have a few. Look at that. They're just, you can't go wrong with a good, you know, neutral eyeshadow palette. I mean, just look at these shades. They're just so, they're so basic, but basic is in the name, and personally I have no problem with being basic, especially since I do like experimenting with different lip colors. Like, this is just all you need. And I know they have their Urban Decay Naked Basics too. Personally, those shades just did not appeal to me. A lot of them looked very similar. And I feel like you get a much better selection of neutral shades with the original Naked Basics as opposed to the Naked Basics 2. But I mean, that's just going to be a preference type of thing. But this eyeshadow palette is just, it's just one of my favorite items in my makeup collection. It's been so well loved. All of the eyeshadows have like a dip in them, and they're really, you know, I can probably, on a few shades, I'm probably gonna hit pan very, very soon because it's just so deep in the eyeshadow pan. But you really can't go wrong with this little palette. It's perfect for traveling, perfect if you just want to take one thing, because like I said, you can use a lot of these shades to fill in your eyebrows. You can also use it to contour, to highlight. It's just an amazing product, and it's definitely worth every single penny. And the last palette that I'll be talking about, and by far my favorite palette that I'm going to be talking about, is basically the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette on steroids. And I've used this phrase before when I'm describing this palette, and it's the Kat Von D Shaded Light Eye Contour palette. This palette, well, I bought it last year when it came out, it blew me away. I really did not expect to love a neutral matte eyeshadow palette as much as this, but you really, once you buy this, you don't need any other neutral eyeshadow palettes. You just need this, and then you can complement it with something like the JUVIA'S Nubian 2 palette, or you can even use like shimmery eyeshadows from Wet n Wild, but this is basically the only eyeshadow palette that you'll need, and you can just pair it up with whatever shimmer shade or whatever like bright colors, or you can just pair it with anything. So with this eyeshadow palette, it's basically separated into color families. So it's like you're getting 3 different quads. So you get the warm quad, the cool tone quad, and also your neutrals. Warm, cool, and neutral. And you get your base eyeshadow, which is what you would use all over the lid or even underneath the brow bone area. That's why these are a lot bigger, because it's usually the eyeshadows that you would apply all over the lid, and you would go through them a lot quicker than the other eyeshadow shades. You also get a really nice white, a black eyeshadow. You can very well use this palette to fill in your eyebrows. I've used this one right here, this shade, which is cooler tone, as a contour shade. It works really well if you have fair to light skin. It's just a great palette, and Kat Von D does matte eyeshadows really well. So I'm going to be swatching a few, and it's just an incredible palette. Not chalky, not difficult to work with. And this is going to last you a lifetime. Look at that. That's just the warm eyeshadows. I think my favorite little quad in this eyeshadow palette is definitely the neutrals, because sometimes I know working with warm eyeshadows can make you look a little bit more tired, but these are very nice. The one eyeshadow that I use the least is the black one, just because it's really pigmented. Look at that. You really don't need that much, so I have a really light hand whenever I do go into this black, because I mean it's black. It is really black. You can go from a sultry like smoky eye to looking like a panda real quick, because this black is really pigmented. This palette also comes with a large mirror, and I think this is perfect for anyone, just the everyday makeup wearer, as well as someone doing freelance makeup. Like I said, you can just take this with you. These are all the neutral eyeshadows that you'll need, and you can pair with any shimmery shade or any colorful eyeshadow. It's just one of those eyeshadow palettes that you truly need in your collection. It's kind of pricey, especially comparing it to the Wet n Wild and the NYC palette, but I think it's worth every penny. This is going to be a great investment for your makeup collection. And that's it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed hearing about my favorite eyeshadow palettes. I know I enjoyed talking about them. If I have any blog posts, makeup tutorials, or videos talking about the eyeshadow palettes that I spoke about in this video, I will be linking them in the information bar below. In the comments below, I would love to know what your favorite eyeshadow palette is, so let me know right below this video. If you're brand new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe by clicking right over here or down below. Help me reach 10,000 subscribers, and I will be seeing you very soon with a brand new video. Bye! For the under eye area. So I do like this powder. The blushes I love. So we have 2 blushes in this palette. The first one being Surreal Glow. Surreal Glow is going to be kind of a toned down